Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I wanted to discuss the 10, actually might be 11 weapons, we'll see, you need to get before the season is over. There are raid weapons in here because next season we get a brand new dungeon. You don't want to be stuck farming out old raid weapons, getting patterns for old raid weapons for crafting when there's a new dungeon out and you want to be playing the new endgame activity. In 6 months we have a new raid. So these weapons are a priority to get now and not later. These are not a I'll get them when I get them kind of deal. The raid weapons are incredibly important. Every single one outside of the glaive and the fusion really are really good and should be grabbed. So we're going to go into this. There are raid weapons in here, but that's because most of the raid weapons are worth grabbing now this season. I also have almost all the seasonal weapons. There's a couple in the seasonal pool that I don't think are very good. And there's a couple world pool weapons. And all but 2 of these weapons are craftable. So that's a good thing. Most of these weapons are realistically obtainable and realistically able to have their god rolls equipped. Alright, let's head into this because this is probably going to be more of a long form video in total. Alright, our first weapon on our list is going to be the submachine gun from the Vow of the Disciple raid. One thing to take into note, these guns do have adept versions. I'm going to show their adept versions because their adept versions are going to, from what we can tell, probably drop intrinsically with the enhanced versions of the traits. And so if you're not looking to spend the materials to craft and level up the weapon to its enhanced version traits, then maybe there's a world where you wait until we get the master versions of this raid and you go for the adept versions to farm out those, right? The role I'm looking for here on submission is perpetual motion and frenzy. Most people want overflow or want subsistence. Subsistence on SMGs is okay. It's not great. It's a couple extra bullets, which feels decent, I guess. Overflow messes with my head because you're not going to have it all the time, and so you get into the flow of the base 37 round magazine or the 40 round magazine with a dependent mag, right? You get in the flow of when to when to press your reload button, and so overflow messes with that flow because sometimes you'll have to press reload and sometimes you're looking at 80 bullets in your magazine, so sometimes you're not gonna have to reload forever, right? But sometimes you need to reload after your bullets are done, right? So I don't personally like overflow, but if you're a person who likes overflow is a fine choice. But I personally am looking for perpetual motion at 2 stacks. It's a plus 20 to your reload speed, which will then put you at 56 on your reload speed. And then frenzy, when it's procced, it's a 50 to your reload speed. So you would be at 100 reload speed with both procced at all times, and it's pretty easy to keep perpetual motion procced once it's procced at times 2. So you could literally go to 100 reload speed, which is what feeding frenzy would put you at. So this gun's pretty easy to keep 100 reload speed with, as long as you are moving. But that would be the role I would look for on the submachine gun. Alright, next on our list is going to be the Forbadance Arc Waveframe Grenade Launcher. The biggest thing on this grenade launcher is chain reaction, because it can roll chain reaction. Chain reaction is a amazing perk, and the fact that they put it on another special weapon is incredible to me. The fact that they put it on a Waveframe is even more incredible to me, and it definitely makes this weapon worth going to get. The thing to look out for is Enhanced Ambitious Assassin, because you could, technically, maybe, get 3 in the magazine. We're not sure. We haven't I don't know if anybody's gone and farmed out this weapon yet, because I don't think anybody has gotten 5 patterns of any of these guns yet. It's because you have to get 5 of these raid guns, right? So I don't think anybody's gotten 5 yet of these raid guns. I know I personally haven't. I'm only at 2 of most of them. There's a couple I'm only at 1 of. There's a couple I have none of. I still don't have any pulse ones. But if Enhanced Ambitious Assassin can give you 3, that would be huge. Because it would be 3 kills, 3 bullets, 1 reload, which would be really crazy. And the 3 kills would be really easy to chain reaction, so it would almost feel like auto-loading holster, because you would have to reload once every 3 shots, which would be really strong, right? Which would make it strong enough that I think it would be worth running as a viable special weapon. There's also another Waveframe on here, on this list, that also has, it also can roll auto-loading holster, and I think it might be a little more consistent to run, but we'll get there. That is the role I would look out for on the Forbidden's GL, would be Ambitious Assassin and Chain Reaction. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, next up is the Insidious Pulse Rifle. This is our first aggressive frame pulse rifle in a really long time. I don't think we've had one since Garden. So this is our first one in a really long time, and there's a lot of really good rolls here. This gun has a lot of really amazing rolls, but when I heard this roll, it was the roll that I immediately could not get out of my head, because it's an insta-proc of 1 for all, and I've seen the testing of this roll, and this is true. The roll on the Insidious Pulse Rifle I would go for is Dragonfly and 1 for all. Yes, there is a legendary weapon that can roll Dragonfly and a damage perk. Not only can it run Dragonfly and a damage perk, it can roll Dragonfly and 1 for all. 1 for all is a 10-second duration perk, which is why I would always choose it over Rampage. Rampage does exist on this gun, and yes, Rampage is a thing, and you can roll Dragonfly Rampage or even Dragonfly Adrenaline Junkie. But I personally think Dragonfly 1 for all is what makes this gun this gun. This is a raid caliber loot. You shoot 1 enemy, you kill 1 enemy with a crit, its entire group of ads around it will either die or takes enough damage that 1 for all procs, and now you have a 35% damage bonus for 10 seconds, which is higher than any other damage perks in this column. This perk combo is really insane, and I would highly look out for it. The one thing I would say, though, is I would probably go Tac Mag as your magazine when you're crafting this, because it will help your reload speed, and if you're running Dragonfly 1 for all, you're running 2 damage perks, right? And so you're running 0 reload bonuses here. And so I would definitely be looking for a reload bonus in the magazine, and I would also go for a reload speed masterwork to help with that reload speed even more. And if you have the space on your armor, I would probably go for a reloader on the armor as well. That is all for the Insidious Pulse Rifle. On to the next weapon. Alright, next up on our list is the Under Your Skin Bow. This is our first Void Bow since Forsaken that has rolled Archer's Tempo and Explosive Head. This makes it the best Void Bow in the game. I know there are perks here that seem interesting, seem cool. You know, you have Successful Warm-Up plus Archer's Tempo, which if you combine them together, you can get like a 0.2 charge draw time. That's not what you're looking for here on the bow. You're looking to make it a consistent ad clearing weapon to use at the end game level when overload bow is a thing, because overload bow is the most consistent overload in the game. Explosive Head makes it so that way you can one-shot GM level enemies, which is unheard of. There's like basically no way to one-shot GM level enemies without running a special weapon, but an Explosive Head bow does it very consistently, which makes the weapon very, very good. So I would make sure that before the season is over, you have crafted yourself an under your skin. You need 3 patterns. I've gotten my 3 patterns. I'm about to start farming this out myself. You're going to need level 13 to craft this exactly how you want to craft it. However, that being said, this bow is incredibly good and is incredibly worth running. Make sure you go grab it before the season is over. Alright, those who know me personally will know this is a little bit of a shocker. But, that being said, I think this auto rifle is incredibly good. I was initially a non-stats for all guy. I was initially just like, meh, stats for all sounds okay. The combination of stats for all and one for all is an amazing combo, because now your gun wants you to play it one for all. Wants you to play that way where you're just shooting 3 enemies and then boom, you're good, right? Stats for all is an incredible perk. It maxes out everything, it feels like. And it's like it's like a 6-second perk. Once you've procced it, it feels so good once you proc it. Your reload speed gets maxed out. Your stability goes through the roof. The gun feels, any of these guns that have stats for all, they instantly feel like amazing. They feel godly the second you proc stats for all, which is an amazing thing to feel like when you have a perk. And this gun rolls with one for all, so why not? You're already doing it to proc stats for all. Why not just build a little bit into it with one for all? This is definitely a top tier auto rifle, and we don't currently have an arc auto that I would recommend to you. So if you're looking for an arc auto for overload this season, I know there's arc shields in Glassway, so I would definitely look out for it. So if you're looking for an arc auto, Sweet Sorrow from the seasonal loot pool is definitely worth getting, on top of the fact that it has Land Tank as an intrinsic perk, and Land Tank is great, especially if you main Titan. Alright, that's all for this. On to the next one. Alright, our next weapon on our list, we're getting close to the end here, just a couple guns left, is Peace of Mind. This is a kinetic 540 round per minute pulse that, when I first saw it, I immediately looked for its PvP potential, which this gun, if you follow PvP YouTubers, has very high PvP potential. However, the 10% pulse buff definitely feels felt here. This gun feels really good in PvE. It really does. And it's not Land Tank. Like, the rate at which this gun kills stuff feels good, even in regular content, which is a problem pulses have really struggled with. Is in regular content they felt useless to run, especially compared to like a hand cannon. But once I got this role, I have this role as a non-crafted role. Once I got this role, I played around with it in the first encounter of the raid, where there's unstops, and this felt really good. Like, it melts everything. It shoots really fast because it's a 540, right? Adrenaline Junkie is a great perk, and Stats for All, as I've already raved about, makes basically any gun feel good once you proc it. And Adrenaline Junkie is a good perk because it's one grenade kill, right? You throw a grenade off to the left, kill one enemy. All the enemies in front of you can easily kill with no problem then. And you can keep Adrenaline Junkie procced by just simply refreshing your kills and making sure you're getting those kills fast enough, which this gun can definitely do with the rate of fire it shoots at. We're currently in Unstopped Pulse season, which I think gives this gun plenty of reason to be used alone. I know for a fact that next week we go to... in 2 weeks we go to Birthplace of the Vile, which is a Scorn Strike, which means it'll be an Overload Unstop Strike. And Overload Unstop Strikes are going to be pretty easy this season because we can run Overload Nades, and then your Unstop is free to be whatever you want it to be. And so I definitely think Peace of Mind is going to be up there as an Unstop choice for Birthplace of the Vile. I also think this gun's going to struggle a little bit this season, being kinetic, right? Because you have a lot of unstopped barrier strikes, and that's typically where unstops are. They're with barriers, and Arbalest is just so strong as an anti-barrier option inside of those strikes. But that is all I have for Peace of Mind. We have 4 weapons left, and then we'll be done. Okay, on to our next weapon. Our next weapon is going to be Thoughtless. This is the seasonal sniper rifle, and it rolls with a unique combo that lets it, with backup mag, go to 14 for regular overflow and 18 for enhanced overflow. This is incredibly strong because the reserves of this gun is only like 21. And if I remember correctly, overflow refills from your reserves, right? And so it's going to refill to 2x your normal capacity, right? And so if you're at 7, it goes to 14. And with enhanced, it's an extra 2 bullets. It looks like an extra 4 bullets, sorry. So it goes all the way to 18. And if the gun holds 21 in reserves and you're on overflow, which goes to 18, you're shooting all of your reserves in one reload, which is really strong. And you don't need auto-loading holster because auto-loading holster is not going to be more efficient here, and it doesn't even roll on the gun. And then you also have firing line, which is the best damage perk right now for most content. It is a 20% increase to your precision damage, which is a pretty big increase. The only perk that's probably maybe better would be Vorpal, but I think firing line is better because in most cases where you're going to be using the sniper rifle, you're going to be with teammates. The number one use case this sniper rifle has is if you are the G-Horn person for damage phases. Your G-Horn is going to be out DPS'd naturally by the Izzy Rocket people, and this sniper comes in so that way you can more competitively keep up with them, because you don't really need a spam G-Horn. You need to shoot one G-Horn, count your 10 seconds, and shoot this gun out. And so this gun becomes a good extra DPS on top of G-Horn, because G-Horn obviously takes your exotic slot, so you can't use like Witherhoard or something. Alright, we're down to just the last couple. Alright. I wasn't originally planning on putting this gun on the list, but I think it's important to have here because I know a lot of people like Waveframes. A lot of people miss Martyr's Retribution. And this gun can come really close to the old Martyr's Retribution role. The old Martyr's Retribution role was obviously Field Prep and Demolitionist, but we can't get that here. But in my opinion, we can get a better perk combination of auto-loading holster and Frenzy. Frenzy, as many people know, just procs from you being in combat, whether the gun is doing damage or not. So it can be stowed as a special weapon, it can be a primary weapon, and once it procs on one weapon, it procs on everything in your inventory. So if you're running double Frenzy, as I do most of the time, Frenzy procs twice. And so Frenzy will be already ready to go on your special weapon, and it'll be already ready to go on your primary weapon. So you can swap back and forth really smoothly and abuse that 15% damage bonus from just existing and shooting enemies and taking damage that Frenzy is. And with auto-loading holster, you get a group of enemies in front of you and you just shoot one shot, boom, done. All those enemies are taken care of. You swap back to your primary, you deal with the next couple set of ads. Oh, wait, boom, a little beefier target or a large group of ads, you just swap to explosive personality, boom, done, shoot, all those enemies dead. Really smooth, flowing gameplay loop here with explosive personality that I definitely think people should be looking out for this gun, and makes this gun really good for basically all content. Just the problem is, like, you really need a damage weapon for higher end game content, and so this falls off a little bit because obviously grenade launchers right now aren't the greatest DPS, but they're not terrible. Alright, we're on to the last two. Okay, we're on to the Sin Caption 53. This is a Omolon pulse rifle. This is the first pattern you are given, and this is the first weapon I crafted. The reason I crafted it was because I saw that it can roll headstone. I did not have any headstone weapons at the time that were usable this season, and I wanted to make sure I had a headstone weapon that was ready for endgame content. And this pulse is a pulse rifle, so it's unstopped. And I know that when it comes to later in the season, for building for GMs, this pulse is going to come in really handy because headstone helps with build crafting on stasis. Pulses are also feeling pretty good right now in endgame content after their 10% buff. Could use a little more on a couple different versions. I think lightweight frame still could use a little bit more love. But pulses overall are feeling pretty good. The rule I would go for here is Outlaw and Headstone. I think it is the best overall option on here. This Pulse Rifle also rolls with Frenzy and Vorpal Weapon. I'm not a personally huge fan of Vorpal Weapon. I know lots and lots of people who are. People like using their primary for DPS. I don't. I have a special weapon for a reason. I like using my special weapon to do that damage with it. And I don't typically run blinding grenades unless I absolutely deem it necessary. So I don't find Vorpal Weapon to very much so be worth it, because it doesn't actually affect how you stun most champions in the game. It would only affect barriers, in all honesty, which barriers you should just be running Arbalist at this point. If you're running a kinetic weapon to deal with barrier champions, you're probably doing it wrong, because you should probably just run Arbalist. But that is not the point of this video. For this gun, I would go Outlaw Headstone, because that's the best perk combo in my opinion. You get a kill, you proc Headstone Crystal, and you now have Outlaw, and you shoot the Crystal, now you proc Outlaw, and you're back to full mag, and you got a super quick reload. Alright, on to the last gun. Yeah, the last one on the list. Alright, let's be honest. If you didn't think this weapon wasn't going to be on here, then you're crazy. Funnel Web. At this point, if you don't know about getting this gun, then you've obviously lived under a rock. Funnel Web is the best SMG we've had since Recluse. And that's the truth. I got mine 2 days before the raid. Mine is pushing 7,000 kills. To be exact, we are looking at 6,790. It is by far my #1 used primary this season. It works in like everything, which is what makes it so good. It just does everything well. There's really 3 perk combos you're looking for here. You want either Frenzy or Adrenaline Junkie, your choice. Other than that, for the first column, Subsistence, if you like Subsistence on SMGs. If you're one of those people who like Subsistence, go for Subsistence. Go for it. Grab it up. Have fun. Mine is Killing Wind Frenzy, and this feels really good. This feels really snappy. Once you proc both, you're feeling really good. The #1 role I would most prefer would be Perpetual Motion and Frenzy. This would give you, just like we said earlier in the video, very similarly to Feeding Frenzy for your reload speed, this would be very close to 100. This would be 100 reload. So when you do empty this mag, when the Vice Stinger perk doesn't proc, you'll be at 100 reload speed, which means you'll reload really quick, which feels really good. The reason this is better than Killing Wind is because Killing Wind is only 40 handling and doesn't increase your reload speed at all. And so your reload speed is only given a plus 50 bonus, which only puts you at 88 here, right? And obviously, to be perfect, you would want a reload speed bonus, but the masterwork doesn't matter too much. And obviously, you want to go a pen mag for the 39 mag. I'm pretty sure mine has tack on it. Let me pull up Doom real fast. Mine has flared, so when the magazine is empty, I have a plus 13 bonus, right? Yeah, I have a plus 13 bonus to my reload speed by naturally. So my roll is this, and it feels really good. And I think mine's actually a handling masterwork. But overall, mine feels really good. The 50 plus the 50 does max out my reload speed, which does feel good. I will admit, once Frenzy procs, the reload speed feels really good on here. It feels really snappy, really quick. But you could go for like a pendant mag or even extended mag to go to 41. This is actually one of those guns where extended mag is actually a true mag increase even farther. And so, like, with perpetual motions, you could almost make this up, because you'd be at 20, plus 20 would put you at 40, plus 50 would put you at 70, right? So you'd be 70 reload speed with perpetual and frenzy, and then you would also get a plus 10 to your stability when you would have perpetual motion up, so your stability would be 60. So overall, this would probably be like the most min-maxed you could go, because you could completely ignore the reload deficit from extended mag and have a 41 mag, which would be ridiculous on this gun. One thing I will say about this gun is, if it feels bullet spongy to you, and it feels like it's not killing red bars, throw on minor spec. I used to be a huge major spec person on my primaries. Like, well, my primary should just kill minors. Why do I need to put minor spec on it? I put minor spec on this gun after I got mine, because I was like, this doesn't feel good at all. This feels bullet spongy. 750 just feel better to me, because, well, they do more damage, right? I put minor spec on and my world was changed. I've literally not changed my gun since I put minor spec on this weapon. It feels way too good. I would use this gun without volatile flow in the game. I would use this weapon without volatile rounds. I plan on it next season. I plan on using this gun without volatile rounds. It's that good. But if you're looking for a primary to just play the game with, I think Funnel Web is your number one choice right now. They removed the farm for it, so obviously that makes it a little harder to get. The best way to get it would be just do Banshee's bounties every single day. If you have 3 characters, do them 3 times a day. That's going to be 100. It's going to be 200 reputation per character. So you'll get 400 reputation, 600 reputation per character for every day. So that's a pretty fast way to level them up. Or you can just gradually get it, and eventually you'll get the role you're looking for. I'm okay with my role. Obviously, my preferred role will be the one here on screen, but since it's non-craftable, I'm not too stressed about it. I'm assuming at some point, basically every gun in the game is going to be craftable. I'm hoping that guns that we've had for a while, because right now only new guns are craftable, right? They've not made any old guns craftable yet. I'm hoping that as we get old guns that we've not had craftable, I hope that we don't have to go get their patterns, because that would be really annoying and really frustrating to basically be told, yeah, okay, so you have like an almost perfect roll of this gun, but in order to get a perfect roll of this gun, you need to find this gun 5 more times with a red border, or 3 more times with a red border, and that'd be really frustrating to have to deal with. I'm hoping when we get the new world drop weapon, when we get new weapons in the crafting that are old weapons that we may or may not already have god rolls of, we can just craft them, right? You can just go ahead and make them, and then you can level them up to get the perks on them you want to get. Alright, that's it for all the weapons. Alright, that's all for the video. I hope these looks over of the god rolls of these weapons has helped you figure out what you should be running, what you should be looking for when you're going and farming all these weapons. We got 40 weapons this season. It was really hard for me to narrow it down to the list I did. This list is bigger than I originally expected to be, but we got a lot of weapons and a lot of really good weapons this season. I hope this trend continues. I hope we continue to get weapons that are desirable, weapons that are cool, weapons that push us to go get them. We've really lacked weapons that, especially the 2 seasons after Chosen, we've really lacked weapons that were in archetypes that were good, that rolled with cool perks that were wanted. We've gotten a lot of just meh weapons that are just not what they should be. There's a couple weapons that I didn't get last year that are good now. My biggest regret is not keeping a grid skipper. If you have a grid skipper that's good, I hope you kept it, because right now, oh my, I bet the thing's insane. With the 10% buff it got, with it being unstoppable, with it being void, and being able to run volatile rounds, I bet the thing is amazing right now. Wish I would have kept one. You live and you learn. So don't ever take guns that people rave about and just be like, it doesn't feel like it right now. It might. When people say guns are good, they probably mean it. The YouTube community as a whole pretty much agrees on what guns are good, what guns aren't. And so when you see a general push towards a gun or a set of guns, go get them. Go, make sure you're farming out these guns, because you're gonna either want them now or you're gonna want them in 6 months, and you don't want to have to be like, oh man, I didn't get that weapon 6 months ago. It's not what you want to be at. You don't want to be the person who, didn't get a hothead last season, right? And so now you're like, oh, I really needed a explosive light rocket. I don't have one. Well, you don't want to be that person, right? I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I will see everybody on Thursday for a brand new video. This was supposed to be Thursday's video, but today's video that I uploaded didn't do well at all, so I've messed around with my video schedule. I will figure out a video for Thursday. Instead of moving everything forward, I will figure out a video for Thursday, because that'll be a little easier to do. I think I have an idea of what I'm going to do, but we will see. I appreciate everybody watching this video, those who do, and I'll see you all on Thursday for a brand new one. Peace out, and goodbye.